Welcome to Learn Law Better. Today I want you to understand what professors mean by black letter law, also commonly referred to as Hornbook law. Black letter law is critically important as it is the basis for your final exam and the bar exam. Hi, this is Bo Baez, and today I want to talk to you about the black letter law. Black letter laws are the legal rules and principles that are so well accepted across the country that there is no longer any basic disagreement as to what they are. But keep in mind, many states have slight variations on how they articulate the rules or in how they define certain key terms. So when you become a lawyer, make sure that you use the variation accepted in your state where you are practicing law. With that slight caveat, no one would dispute, for example, that a tortious battery requires the intentional, harmful, or offensive contact of another. That is black letter law. Almost all law professors will require you to learn black letter law for exam purposes because most law schools, except those of you in Louisiana and Puerto Rico, are preparing you to practice law anywhere in the country. Also, the uniform portions of the bar exam will test you on these rules. So now, to answer the question many of you have, where do I find these black letter rules? As I mentioned earlier, these rules are also called Hornbook Rules because you can find them in hornbooks. A hornbook, for those of you that are new to the law, are generally single-volume books that attempt to capture all of the most important issues, rules, and principles in a single area of law. Some examples include criminal law by Lefebvre, torts by Dobbs, and contracts by Perillo. The Hornbook writers are able to determine the black letter law by reading cases and legislation from all 50 states and then distilling them down into a single volume of law. One reason the Hornbooks are so big is because they have extensive footnotes to many cases and legislative enactments. By the way, I do not recommend that students purchase Hornbooks because they provide too much information for the typical student. I do recommend that you consider buying concise Hornbooks, which condense Hornbooks into a more readable size, from say 1,000 pages to 250 to 300 pages. For years, I assigned concise Hornbooks along with a casebook, as the concise Hornbooks provide the most important rules without going into detail on the more obscure rules or minority positions. For those of you preparing to take the bar exam, the bar prep companies do a decent job in providing you with the black letter law by distilling down the law found in the concise Hornbooks into something more manageable. If you find some area where there is not basic agreement, you're unlikely going to be tested in that area on the uniform parts of the bar exam. Several years ago, I noticed one of these unclear areas in tort law, so I called the National Conference of Bar Examiners, the group that creates the uniform bar exam. I was trying to figure out what rule they would use on the bar exam on that issue. I was told that they don't test these areas because there is no broad agreement on the rule. Finally, keep in mind that your casebook will have a mix of black letter law and minority positions. That's done for various reasons, such as helping students see two sides of a legal problem or to provide you with a historical progression of a rule. I hope you liked today's episode. If you did, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to hit the share button so your friends can find this channel. We have many other episodes, so feel free to explore. Also at learnlawbetter.com, you will find more free resources to help you succeed, including our newsletter, blog posts, and exam bank. Thank you for watching.